I talk about the space beyond our personal thinking mind, which I would describe as infinite awareness, the true self, the essence of our very being, and the space where you access calm, peace, joy and bliss. You know, the true essence of who we are beyond our thoughts. Now, that can sometimes sound a little bit out there, especially if this is a new, let's say a new experience. Because a lot of the time we are locked and imprisoned by our thoughts. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. How our ego, and I call it our ego, but it could be called our personal thinking mind. But it's essentially how that imprisons us in our own world of thought. And how most of us will go through life, a lot of the time unconsciously, because our personal thinking mind, our ego, is the one that's in control. Now, we don't even realise that for most of our experience, that we are actually being governed by our thoughts, imprisoned by them, and living from a place that may be referred to as the separate self, not the true self. And like I said, these sessions are here to remind you that beyond the personal thinking mind, beyond our thoughts, lies the true essence of who we are. But the ego has an incredible way of locking us up. And it's a trickster, right? It takes our thoughts away to the future and our thoughts back into the past, and it regurgitates memories, or it creates assumptions about the future, quite often fears, that keep us locked in that process of thinking. And as we are locked in that process of thinking, we forget who we really are beyond those thoughts, i.e., we forget that I am the awareness that is ever present beyond those thoughts. Now again, if this is not making any sense, stick with it. It never made any sense to me when I first began, or if it is making sense, but you just need a reminder, as we all do, including me every single day, then great. This is a refresher every day, an opportunity to renew your mind, reset your spirit, recharge your soul, and then go back into your day. How we can find calm beyond complaint. Finding calm beyond complaint. Now, does anyone find themselves complaining? If you find yourself complaining, sorry I got kicked out there, I'm back in. If you find yourself complaining, then that is a sign that the ego has a grip in that moment and is making you believe that you're your thought again. So has anyone been complaining today? This is not to call you out, but it's more to shine awareness on it, to bring your attention to it. Has anyone complained about life, about someone around them or someone else? Maybe complained about the workload or the task list? Maybe complained about an ache in their body or a pain? If complaining is present, then we usually will find, upon self-inquiry, upon exploring that we are caught up in our thinking. That our ego and our mind has a grip on us in that moment and is preventing us from truly being aligned with the innate nature of who we are, with the true essence of who we are. Now, I remember reading this in a book years and years ago, and they done a no complaints challenge for 7 days, which of course I'm going to be passing on to you guys today. But they said, begin to become aware whenever you feel tempted to complain, and shine your light of awareness on it. And then over time, notice as you're about to complain and let it go. And over the course of a week, after not complaining for a week, and obviously I slipped at points, I complained and then I caught myself, but even that process itself began making me more aware of my tendency, and here's the important part, the habitual patterns that I was stuck in about complaining. I always thought I was such a positive person. I complained about so much, right? But as soon as I shined the light of awareness on it, the complaining began to stop, right? And what happened when the complaining began to stop was that I felt better. I began letting go of the things that, to be honest, never really matter. Now, if you begin to draw your attention to your complaints today and the next day and for the next 7 days, you'll begin to realize that most of those complaints, if not all of them, don't really matter. They don't really matter, and they also don't make any difference. They have no benefit to you, the situation, the experience, or the other people. The only thing they do is they lock you and imprison you in your personal thinking, egoic mind. It's the only thing that they do. And the mind loves it, right? Because the mind wants to be in control. The ego has a fear of dying, so the ego grabs onto these complaints. It's like, this is great stuff. I'm going to jump on here, hold on for dear life, and remain in control and keep this human being that is infinite awareness locked away. Unrealized, unremembered, unrecognized. But as soon as you become aware of the complaint, and this is like a spiritual experiment. As soon as you become aware of the complaint, the true self is back in the game. Consciousness is back in the game. Awareness is back in the driving seat saying, hold on a minute. That's just a complaint, which is just a thought. Emerging in this space of awareness, which I am. And so as easily as that thought of complaint emerges, it can just as easily dissipate, move on, disappear.